Looks like somebody might be having a bad day. Hey guys, I'm going to be upgrading my dash cam for a 2K dash cam. But the funny thing is, my old dash cam, Viofo, is also 2K dash cam. Didn't realize it until I bought the other one that's 2K dash cam with 2 extra cameras. Well, at least I get 2 extra cameras. Now, there was nothing wrong with my old camera, still works. I thought it was just 1080p, but it was actually 2K. Well, this dash cam brand lasted a long time and still works. I'm gonna go with the same brand. I just wanted to upgrade it to a 2K camera. Well, I got 2 extra camera on this new Viofo A229 Plus. Also bought a hard wiring kit for spying on people when I'm not there. I mean, for parking mode. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show you the struggles, the errors that you might make and can be avoided. All right, so let's get started. Let's open the box. All right, so in this box here, you get your instruction booklet, 3M double-sided tape extra with plastic sheets, trim removal tool, front camera plus GPS mount, rear camera, interior camera, cable for your interior camera, Type-C data cable, power cable for your front camera, charger adapter for USB, 6-meter cable for your rear camera, and that's pretty much it for that box. Now you gotta buy this separately, hardwired dash kit. One other feature, you can turn your camera on 24/7. USB-C, this connects to the main camera, and then you got your 3 main typical wires. One black will be ground, then you got red is live wire, positive, and then yellow, your accessory wire. So every time you turn on the car, it goes live. And for a hardwire kit, it doesn't include a fuse tab. So you got to buy that separately to use it. Then you got to buy a connector to connect the hardwire kit. So I bought this solder wire connector. You can connect the wires any way you like. I just had the spare fuse tab lying around. And all I do is use a lighter, heat it up, or use a heat gun, and the solder melts. First thing you want to do before installing the camera, running your wires all through the car, make sure the camera works. Okay, let's turn it on. Feels really premium. Wow, nice screen. Shiny. Of course, need a memory card. And looks pretty good. I like it. Okay, let's plug in all the other cameras to make sure it's working properly before I put all the wires through and then realize the camera doesn't even work. Then you gotta return it. Then you gotta take all the wires out and then return it. It's pretty simple to install this camera on. You just put it in the cigarette lighter and it's on. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install all 3 cameras. So now I got a hatchback. There's 2 ways I can approach this. I can put the wires underneath the headliner and then let it dangle and attach it to the back glass. Or I can use that weather grommet that I can use for the wires going through. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna go underneath the headliner, underneath the quarter panel, through that weather grommet attached to the hatch. Then that wire will be inside that hatch, going through it, and then pops out underneath this gray trunk cover. Now, where am I gonna put that camera? Does it want to be at the bottom of the trunk? Or does it want to be at the top of the trunk? Only you can decide. Here's the rear view camera. So you want to position maybe up here, down here, or maybe here. Or how about here? Maybe near the middle. Maybe not even on the glass itself. Maybe actually in the vehicle itself, right here. But for me, the best position was top on the glass. Now listen carefully. To power the camera up, you got to plug into that 12-volt round socket or your cigarette lighter. And then at the other end, you're going to plug that to the camera. The wire is going to go underneath the glove box, underneath the pillar, underneath the headliner, towards the camera. That's my old camera there. I'm going to be installing a new camera. But we're going to hardwire this. So we're going to locate the fuse box. Mine is on the passenger side to the left. Then we're going to use the hardwiring kit. That didn't come with the fuse tab. That didn't come with the connector that we need to connect. So what we're going to do is connect the fuse tab to the hard wiring kit, the positive red wire that's always live. I'm going to use this solder connector to wire them together. On a fuse tap, there's two prongs sticking out. One is positive, one is negative. The outer side of the fuse tap is usually where you put in your new fuse for your dash cam. The inner side is your original fuse from your core fuse box, and you place it in there. Or you can say the outer is your top that your new fuse will go in, and your inner is your bottom, is your original fuse from your fuse box. I only got one fuse tap for my live wire, the red one, but I also need another fuse tap for my yellow wire, the accessory cable. But luckily, I'm upgrading this dash cam, so I'm going to reuse my old fuse tap from my old dash cam hardwiring kit. I'll be good. So this is the black wire, the ground wire. You just have to connect it to a bolt that's connected to the chassis of the vehicle, and you're grounded. In theory, this little box here will shut down all the cameras if your vehicle battery is too low, but you'll still have enough juice to start up the vehicle. Now this is my fuse box diagram. Yours will look different. Now we don't want to tap into the fuse of the vehicle that can jeopardize the vehicle safety functions, such as your airbags, your OBD, your brake lights, your power steering, your turn signal. I hope you guys use it, and so on. You just want to make sure you don't jeopardize your safety when you drive the vehicle. Looking at the diagram from my fuse box, looks like the one on the left here looks like really important stuff because it's weird names, but on the right, not so much. Now on the right, simple names like your sunroof or your cigarette lighter. We need to tap it into two fuse slots in your fuse box. One slot should have power all the time, even when the vehicle is off, and the other slot only has power when you turn on your vehicle. So my vehicle is turned off right now, so I'm gonna look for a fuse slot that doesn't have power when the vehicle is turned off. And that fuse slot will be my cigarette lighter. So I'm gonna use a multimeter to test out if there's any power in that fuse slot. Looks good to me, no power. So this will be my accessory fuse slot for my hard wiring kit. I know my multimeter shows a little bit of voltage, but don't worry, I know this fuse doesn't have any voltage when the vehicle is off. Or maybe I should use my sunroof fuse to connect the accessory wires for my hard wiring kit, but oddly enough, that had power even when the vehicle is off. Well, I guess I found my constant live wire. Okay, so let's turn on the vehicle, see if my cigarette lighter fuse has power, meaning it's live when you turn on your vehicle, and it does. So it's not around 12 volt, but around there. That's what you get when you buy a $10 multimeter. Now your fuse tap should have a positive terminal and a negative terminal. We're going to look for the positive terminal on a fuse box to plug in the fuse tap properly. Okay, so let's ground it and see what slot is the positive terminal and the negative. So the top slot of the fuse is my positive, and the bottom, no power, so that'll be my negative. Top, positive. Okay. Ideally, you want to test out the fuse slot that you're going to tap into, which one is the positive terminal and negative terminal. But for me, I know the bottom row of my fuse box, the top slot of the prongs is the positive and the bottom is the negative. Okay, so let's put in that fuse back because I'm not going to use that slot. That was just for example. What I'm going to actually do is use my sunroof fuse, top left, that's constant power or live wire. And then I'm going to use my cigarette lighter fuse as my accessory wire. And you got the black wire, so it's a ground wire. You just find a bolt in your vehicle that's connected to the chassis and ground it. For me, the closest one was my car radio bracket holder. But before we fuse tap the fuse box, let's figure out a way to hide the wires for the rear camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the wires through the grommet of the hatch, the one there or the left, probably the right, and then inside the metal frame of the hatch, and then out of this trim piece. Unfortunately, my hatchback doesn't have side covers to hide the wires underneath, so I'm probably going to have to tape them. Okay, before we do this, we got to make sure the power cable is long enough from the front of the vehicle to the back of the vehicle, from the bottom of the hatch, and then towards the top glass of the hatch. Now the other way I can do is do it like this. Instead of going through the hatch, metal part on the side, I can attach it like this. But every time I close my hatch or my trunk, the wire is going to dangle like this, and I don't like it. So the power cable is going to go through the grommet, side of the hatch, inside, out of the trunk cover, tape it to the side, down here, and the wires will just hang a little bit down here. Okay, let's get started. I'm just going to remove this screw so I can tuck the wires easier between the quarter panel and the headliner. And then remove some clips to make the headliner a little bit loose. There, it's a little bit loose so we can tuck the wires underneath the headliner. Okay, I'm going to take the side pillar off. Check your vehicle manufacturer booklet, how to take it out, because you might have airbags. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my old hard wiring kit from my old dash cam and reuse that fuse tab. Now at the other end of this hard wiring kit, you'll have the USB-C that you connect to the dash cam, but you also have this black piece of plastic that's thick, and I think it's called the ferrite bead. Probably saying it wrong, but that thick piece is going to be a problem for my headliner. Well, let's get the dash cam set up, see how it looks. I'm going to use my old memory card for my old dash cam. Plug the power. Now, should I remove the GPS from the dash cam and put it on the window shield, or should I put it on back onto the dash cam and see what it looks like? I'm going to put it back on. This is a good spot. Just like my old dash cam, it was at this spot. Okay, let's remove the other sticky part to put in the dash cam. All right, that looks good. So if you're doing a front camera, probably this is the best spot. Really up to you where you want to put it. And just make sure it's straight, leveled. Okay, let's work on the hard wiring kit. Yeah, that thick plastic is going to be a problem. I don't want to damage my headliner. I can try feeding it through, but I already tried. It's just too thick. I do like thick, but not this kind of thick. I can let it hang like this, but it looks kind of odd. Well, let's work on the other end of the hard wiring kit. So what I'm going to do is tie it together, feed it down the pillar, and then down to the glove box, and pass it through. There we go, nice and easy. I don't want to see any wires, so I'm just going to pass it behind the glove box, through the dash, and closer to the fuse box. And then just unwrap it. So my red wire is going to be connected to my sunroof fuse, because the sunroof fuse is always on. And then my yellow accessory wire is going to be connected to the car cigarette lighter. Now we're going to tidy up the wires so it's not so loose. So I'm just going to tidy up at the top here. Make sure it's nice and tight. For me, this black piece is going to be a problem. For you, maybe not. I don't want it hanging like that. I can try pushing it in underneath the headliner, but I'm pretty sure it's going to damage my headliner. Well, at least now we know it's nice and tight up there. We're just going to work on the side and make the wires tight so it's not so loose on the side. So what I'll do is I'll just put the loose wire around my glove box and then work on it later after I attach everything. So I'm going to remove my sun visor and then my switch for my sunroof to make room for that thick piece to go underneath the headliner. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing this so I don't damage my headliner. Every vehicle is different. Oops, I forgot this piece. Okay, so my headliner is loose now, which is great. So I'm just going to put that thick black piece towards my sunroof switch, because it looks like it has a lot of room there. This way I don't bend my headliner or damage it. It's really up to you if you want to do this extra step. While we're at this, might as well tuck all the wires underneath the headliner. So easy. So easy. Okay, so I'm just going to put everything back together on my headliner. Nice and tight. Now everything's nice and clean at the top. Let's connect these wires together. You might need a heat gun or a torch lighter or a lighter. Really depends what kind of connector you're choosing. I choose this way. Then you just have to connect the hard wiring kit to the fuse tab. Second wire, same process as the other wire. More than likely you're going to use a 5 amp fuse for your new dash cam. Now we'll work on the red wire, the live wire, the positive wire. Take the sunroof fuse out, place it in the inner of the fuse tap or the bottom. Grab your new fuse, put it on the outer side of the fuse tap or the top, and just place it back in the fuse box. Now just remember, the fuse tap top is the positive, bottom is the negative. So you're just going to connect it to your fuse box terminal. Positive goes with positive, negative goes with negative. Oh no, I don't have enough room for the accessory wire to connect to the fuse box. So let's just ground this for now, and then we're going to check the fuse diagram again to see where I can find a fuse that only turns on when the vehicle turns on. Your accessory wire. Let's put in the new fuse in the fuse tap for now. See, I was going to connect it here on my circuit lighter, but I had no room. So we'll just check the fuse diagram one more time. Now I want to look for a fuse when the vehicle is on, the fuse is on. If the vehicle is off, the fuse is off. So for me, looking through here, probably number 21 will be my rear view wipers. Yeah, let's go with number 21, rear view wipers. If anything happens to it, it won't really affect my safety while I drive. Now let's see if this is a live wire or not. We don't want it live. Vehicle's off. Ground it. No power in the multimeter, so looks good. Turn on your vehicle, and it should have power now. Great, this is the one we want. Okay, so we're just going to fuse tap it. A little close to my other fuse tap, but it did work. Now your dash cam is still running even when your vehicle is turned off because it's in parking mode. Now if you want to turn on your dash cam every time the vehicle is on and turn it off when the vehicle is off, you're going to connect those two wires together, the red wire, positive, and the accessory wire. You're going to join it together. You won't need an extra fuse tap. You're just going to use one fuse tap, join them together, and then tap it into a fuse, your accessory fuse. So every time the vehicle is on, it powers up the fuse. Every time the vehicle is off, it turns the fuse off. So for me, it's the rear view wipers. Some dash cam are different. So some only needs the accessory wire to connect to the fuse tap, and you leave the red wire alone, the positive wire alone. So make sure you check your instruction manual if you're doing it this way. I'm just going to go through the menu of the dash cam on parking mode. Every dash cam is different. I'm not going to show you how to use it. Just follow your instruction manual, it should be fine. So I'm just going to turn off my vehicle and see if it works. Looks good to me. All right. Now this is just the front camera. Let's go to the back. Okay, let's remove the trim piece from your hatch or your trunk. Get a wire hook hanger, get it ready, make sure it's long enough, and we're going to save it for later. What we want to do is remove this weathered grommet from your hatch and your body of the vehicle. Sometimes you can just move it to the side, but my bottom grommet right there, it's attached to something, so I can't really remove it to the side. You can look at the bottom, see if you can see what's attached to. I'm just going to leave it as it is and see if we can just put a wire through it as it is. Now you're going to need an extra wire, and you're going to tie it up or tape it to the hook hanger wire, maybe also at the end of the hook hanger wire. And then you're going to use that hook hanger with the wire, put it through the side of your hatch like I'm doing right now. So easy, anyone can do it. Just pass it through, wiggle it a bit if you're stuck somewhere, but look at that. And then at the other end, you're just going to find the hook hanger or the wire that you just taped together. Make sure you grab the right connection, the power plug that connects to the rear camera. Remove the tape that you connected the wire and the hook hanger together. So what you're going to do is you're just going to use the wire, the blue wire that you ran through, tape it up with the power cable for your rear camera. Make sure it's taped nice and well. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull at the other end like so, like fishing. You're just going to fish out the wire, help guide it with your finger there, and you can also use the hook hanger like so. Pretty easy, simple gadget. Nice, here we go. But I came into a problem. The USB-C connecting to the main dash cam, it's a 90 degree. It's not gonna fit in this grommet. It's just too tight a fit. Let's hope your dash cam doesn't come with the 90-degree USB jack. So, which this means I actually got to use this end and pass it through the weather grommet first, and then through the hatch inner frame. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape these two wires together, the blue wire, the extra wire I had, and the power cable of the reverse camera, tape it together, and I'm just going to fish it out the other end with the blue wire together. This way, when I bring back the power cable for the rear camera, I can just tape it to the blue wire and fish it out instead of using the wire hanger. Okay, I'm just going to save this wire because it's going to be so helpful when I fish out the power cable. Now you can set up your wires like this for your rear dash cam perfectly fine. The wires will just be hanging like that, totally fine. But for me, I don't want to see the wire hang like that, so I'm going to take the long route. Here we go. There we go. A little bit more loose on the headliner, and we'll see what's underneath it. It needs to be a little bit more loose. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so I couldn't move the grommet to the side or pull it out because it was zip tied to the wires. See how easy I can pull the top and move it to the side here? The bottom was zip tied, so I'm just gonna cut it off. But then there's a metal clip that also ties it up. Oh. Okay, so now we gotta connect this power cable, the straight one, through the weather grommet and attach it to that blue wire. For me, I have extra wires just in case something like this might happen. For you, you may not. What you're gonna do is grab a spare wire or extra wire, run it through the grommet, and then you're gonna attach it to the USB straight cable for your rear camera, the power cable, tape it up. Gloves are optional, it's up to you. Grab some silicone spray and we're gonna lube that weather grommet. Spray it in and this will help the wires slide in and out easily. Also spray this thick piece that you need to go through the weather grommet so it helps slide it in easily. You probably might not have to remove all the trim piece in your trunk and back seat to do this. I wonder why I was not able to pull the grommet out and move it to the side, because it was zip tied and C-clamped. There we go. Slides right out. Just wipe the excess silicone spray off the wire and just fish it out. There was definitely no way I was going to be able to put that 90-degree USB power plug at the other end through that cable. It had to be the straight end, what I'm doing now. Well, I got the headliner off, the quarter panel off. I might as well feed the USB-C power cable, the 90-degree one. Put it underneath the headliner now so it's nice and easy to access like I'm doing now. And just put it towards the dash cam. And then just put your cable underneath the weather strip on your side window. Now I got a lot of loose wires up front. I don't want that. I'm just going to go to the back and pull it to make it a little bit tight and not so loose. I'd rather have loose wires underneath the trunk trim than the front. Okay, so we got the USB-C 90-degree cable that's going to be plugged into the camera. Now the front dash cam, it's a great area to mount because it's in the middle of your vehicle. But if you're installing all three cameras, make sure you don't block the USB jack for all your other cameras, like so. Yeah. Unfortunately, I couldn't move the dash cam up more because my alarm system is up there. So it looks like I would have to remove the sticker off the windshield, which is not bad. It's better than the 3M double-sided tape, which is a pain to remove. Okay, so let's remove this. Now you might want to change the sticker off your GPS mount because it came off so easily, but I'm going to reuse it again because it didn't really stick well enough in the middle. That's why you can still see a dark spot in the middle there. I'm just going to reuse it again, see what happens. If it does fall out, I do have some extra one that came with the box. Okay, round 2. I might not have enough of this sheet of plastic, so what I'm going to do is probably cut one in half to use the rear camera and the interior camera. Okay, so what have we learned? Make sure you don't block any jacks or USB or anything that needs to be plugged into the camera. Although it's not centered, it's to the passenger side a bit. At least it doesn't block any jacks or USB plugins. Alright, while we're here, we might as well just hide the cable underneath the headliner. The top right of the passenger window is a little bit tight, so I'm just going to remove the visor and makes it a lot looser. There we go. It's up there. Looks good. Okay, let's work on the camera first. I think I'm going to put it right here. Looks good. Oh no. Now it's sticking really well. But it is coming off, so it's good. Although it's not in the middle of my vehicle, like my old dash cam, this doesn't block all the parts if I need to add in more stuff to it. Okay, now pretend you're driving. Oh yeah, it looks good. I can't even see it. Doesn't block my view at all. I like it. But then you go to the front of the vehicle. It's not centered. If you have OCD, that might bother you. Now I can connect that 90-degree USB power cable for my rear camera. Now you gotta also remember your interior camera. It's on the right side of the dash cam, so I'm not too worried. Okay, let's finish tightening up the loose wire up front. Right, good. Now put the sun visor back up. Yeah, maybe I should have just let the rear camera power wire dangled. Now I don't like this power cable for the rear camera loose a bit. It might affect my sunroof assembly sliding in and out. I want the wires to the right more, so I'm just gonna wire to my factory harness and make the zip tie a little bit loose. Okay, let's pull the rest of the power cable. You know, if I ever need to use this weather grommet again, I'm gonna have a spare wire like I had before, and I'm just gonna put it back in just in case. You never know. You might need it, you might not. For me, I'm gonna put it back in. I might need it. Okay, so just gonna put the weather grommet at the bottom back, zip tie it like it was before, make sure everything's connected properly, and let's put back the headliner. Let's not put this tab all the way in, just in case. Now we gotta feed this through the hatch, just like we did before with the wire hanger or the hook hanger. Now, good thing we left that blue wire, that extra wire. Instead of using the hook hanger or the wire hanger, we're just gonna use the blue wire instead. Tape it up, and we're just gonna fish it through. Oh, so much easier. What I'm gonna do is pull up all the wires and just seal it up with a grommet. Tape the tape off, and I'm just gonna wrap it and put it underneath the trunk for now, because I want to put all the pieces back together. Okay, let's do this. Back camera for dash cam ready to go. Let's clean her up. So I'm just gonna spray it with glass cleaner. I got old tinted windows. It may not look clean, but I assure you it's clean. Now careful when you place the camera, you want it in the middle, but according to Google, you don't want to put it on the defroster lines, but you also want to make your camera in the middle. But the defroster line might be in the way, so it will show the defroster line on your dash cam. You want to make it maybe to the right a bit or the left a bit and adjust where you want to place your camera. I think right here would be good. So double check your work. Let's just tape it up. Make sure this is where we want it. Also, make sure you turn the camera over. I forgot. Yeah, a little bit messy. Let's check the back. Yeah, it looks good. No, it doesn't look so bad. You do see some lines, but hey, it's a defroster line. Every vehicle has it. Just choose the angle that has the minimum lines. Okay, let's set it up. This is my last plastic sheet. Make sure you know which side goes on the window and on the dash cam. Number one will be the window. I think it was right here, but you can tell I screwed up. I really wanted it in the middle, but you can see there's a line right there, right in the middle of the camera. There's so much defroster lines. See, I'm just giving you how to install it properly and not install it properly. So this, don't install it like this. So I got tinted windows, pull it softly, not like that. Okay, another round. Now my sheet is smaller, but good thing the dash cam is small. Let's see if I can reuse this. Probably not. Well, at least we know it's really good double-sided tape. Heat it up. So I'm just going to take it off and put another double-sided tape on it. The best way to remove this is use your fingernails, if you have any. Now we're just going to clean it up. Make sure it's nice and clean. Use another double-sided tape that the box included with. Okay, see that line in the center? We don't want that. Maybe to here? No. Here? Here. Yeah, here. It's off center, but I don't want to see those lines or less lines. Okay, so right here. Now this is my last plastic sheeting, so I can't redo this.
Recording 2 channels.
Oh yeah, it looks a lot better. Less lines, you can't see that much compared to the first time I tried it. And I only have a couple more plastic sheeting for the interior camera, so I'm not going to redo this. Just make sure you angle your camera so there's less lines. Now I'm just tidying up the cable lines. Like I said, I want all the loose wires at the back of the trunk. I'll just zip tie it. It's a lot easier. And there's so much space in the trunk. Okay, let's put the cover back on. Hopefully I don't have to drill a hole. I might have to if the wire is pinching. And let's put it on. Pinching a bit. Yeah, probably do have to drill a hole. We'll see. Now I don't have side covers on my hatch, so I'm going to use some 3M adhesive wire clips. You want the cable nice and tight and neat. Now for me, do I want that wire underneath that wire hanger or above the wire hanger? I want to see which way is easier for me to take the cover of my trunk out. Looks to me the top there instead of the bottom. We don't want it like this because I'm having problems hooking it up. Well, let's clean up a bit. Okay, now the interior camera. Plug it in, make sure it's working properly. It is. Works fine. I think I'm going to put it here because I don't want to see the camera. Most people put it on the driver's side. I don't want to see the camera. I'd rather have the passenger see the camera. Now you just got to make sure your camera is positioned properly. To the left, it looks like this. To the right, it's upside down, so it should look like this. Now they have it away so the wires is connected to the driver's side. So that's a lot of wires. All right, let's set it up. So much stuff on the passenger side window. I want to make sure I'm able to take the power cable out and in easily, just in case I need to replace it. For me, I find it easier taking this apart just for tucking in the wires. So I'm putting the camera on the right side, the passenger side. So the wires are actually going to be on top of the passenger side. So that's a lot of wires, you can tell right now. So I'm just going to loosen up the sun visor. Yeah, so much easier putting the wires underneath the headliner, just loosening some screws. Oh yeah, looks good. And the wires don't look too bad. Okay, let's tighten up the screws. Plug in all the cameras. Oh, let's put this piece back. I'm just going to use zip tie and zip tie to the factory harness of the vehicle. You might have airbags, so tie it behind the airbag so it doesn't affect your airbags. Now we're just going to tidy up the wires, make sure it's nice and clean, zip tie it. You can put it in the glove box if you want, or behind the glove box. I'm just going to put it in the glove box for now. Let's move this ground wire because I need to put in my radio first and then ground it. You don't need to see me put in my radio. Just make sure you ground it to the chassis of the vehicle like I have here. So it looks like it is pinching the wire. I'm just going to mark it and drill. Be careful when you're drilling because it could slip. You need a bigger drill. You might want to sand it to make it smooth, but it looks pretty smooth to me. I'm just going to grab an extra wire, make sure it goes in there properly. Okay, let's put the trim back on, or the cover. Alright, so it's a little bit loose, which I like because I can tuck the wires in more if I need to. And it's not pinching the wires, which I like. I think I'll put the other clip right around here. Now, it's not in the way anymore. Looks good. That's so weird. The memory card, the micro SD card I have, I used it in my old dash cam. It was a 1080 dash cam, and it's a really great micro SD card because I live in Canada, and the temperature here goes high and low, mostly in winter, and it lasted for like 5 years and more, and it's still lasting strong. So I'm not sure why this dash cam is not taking this Samsung Evo Plus. It has the highest rating of writing and reading speed, and it can handle 4K videos. So I had to run out and buy this SanDisk Endurance for dash cam. And the funny thing is, this has lower writing speed and lower reading speed than my Samsung. And memory card is so expensive right now because of the whole AI. At least it's working now.
Recording. 3 channels started.
Yeah, when I close my trunk, my tinted window is a little bit foggy because it's old tint. At least there's less defroster lines. And there you have it, the errors that you might make when you install a dash cam. Now this video might be helpful for you guys if you have a hatchback, SUV, a van, because the back glass is one piece and it's hard to hide the wires. Now for me, unfortunately, my tinted windows on the back glass is failing. That's why it's a little bit foggy there. Little tiny bubbles all over the place, not a clear image. But I did find a parking lot, put the hatch up, and this is what it looks like.